two trains arrive at Exeter St David station. The train on the right is heading for the Great Western Railway terminus at Paddington. The one on the left has come down the former London and South Western Railway route from Waterloo via Salisbury. The last mile or so of its journey has been through a tunnel and down a steep connecting line with a 1 in 37 gradient from Exeter Central Station. This line had been opened in 1862 and was the chosen option to get southwestern trains further into Devon and Cornwall. They passed through St David's towards Cowley Bridge, where they followed the 1852 Exeter to Crediton Railway westwards. Sharing St David's meant all trains to and from Waterloo had to stop here and cross the GWR tracks. From this bridge over Queen Street in the city centre we can see the start of the slope down the 1 in 37 gradient where trains entered a 184-yard long tunnel. And on the other side of the road, Exeter Central Station itself, which had opened in 1860, 16 years after St David's. When it was built, the route from here to Waterloo was shorter than the original GWR line from St David's via Bristol to Paddington. But when the latter was diverted through Castle Carey in the early 20th century, this advantage was lost. In 1905, the South Western sought to regain its superiority by removing the need to stop all trains to Plymouth, Ilfracombe, Bude and Padstow at St David's. And the only way to do that was to revive an idea first suggested in the 1850s, a diversion directly linking Central Station with the line to Crediton west of Cowley Bridge. And here you can see where it would have started from, branching off just west of Central Station to the right through those trees, an area which in 1905 was a railway yard. These flats have been built on the proposed route now, which would have entered a cutting around here. Many of the houses in Richmond Row would have lost their gardens. And these homes in St David's Hill would have been demolished as the line went under the road around here. Trains would have been travelling downhill away from Central Station at this point at a gradient of between 1 in 36 and 1 in 49. Properties on the other side of the road would also have been lost as the route went through what is now St Winifred's School. The line would have emerged from its cutting near the church shown here in the distance and would have crossed Bonhay Road around here, just to the north of the original 1862 bridge. The route is shown on this map. Looking eastwards towards the city and the central station, we can see where a large brick viaduct would have been built to take the diversion railway over Bonhay Road, the original South Western Railway, the Great Western and the River Exe, here just south of St David's Station. It would then have gone across these meadows on an embankment into Exwick village. Here it would have crossed Exwick Road on a brick arch bridge before turning north and following the line of the road where those new houses are today. It would have crossed Exwick Hill around here. Then the diversion line would have followed St Andrew's Road. It would have been over there behind the trees. And just behind Hamlin's farm it would have entered a 155-yard long tunnel. Around here, the London and South Western Railway's diversion route would have emerged from the tunnel and bridged St Andrew's Road. It would then have crossed the rivers Creedy and Exe on 3 bridges before running to the west of and roughly parallel to the Paddington line, going towards Cowley Bridge Junction. It would have been over there where those pylons are today. And here we are at Cowley Bridge Junction, the end of the shared route that London and South Western were so keen to get rid of. The Crediton Railway goes off to the left, and the new route would also have curved westwards here, but remains separate from the Great Western, with a new junction a little bit further up the road. It would have been in this field, right next to the Upton Pine Road Bridge. The Great Western objected to the London and South Western's plans for a diversion during a court hearing which ruled in their favour. London and South Western services thus continued to use St David's and the shared route to Cowley Bridge. All was not lost, though, for the St David's bypass idea, and in 1935 another opportunity arose to pursue the same scheme laid out by the London and South Western 30 years earlier. This time the company's successor, the Southern, got beyond any Great Western opposition, and preparatory work for the spur began. This involved the realigning of the River Exe to provide additional land west of St David's for the avoiding line. While that task was indeed completed, the outbreak of World War II saw the project finally abandoned. In the 1980s, the track layout at St David's was changed, with South Western trains using platform 1 and 2, removing the need to cross Great Western tracks for the first time in 120 years.